Hey everyone, welcome back to BeamNG.drive. So this is a bit of a weird video, and it just kind of stems from me having weird ideas. I get inspired by some of the weirdest things, but I was thinking about the new Cyberpunk game. Okay, don't think about this too much, but it runs not too well on some of the older generation consoles, and it runs okay on PC and the newer consoles. But what if BeamNG.drive was on PS2? Yeah, I know, that's a bit of a logical leap there for a second, but the way that you're looking at the game right now is not its top settings. I'm on PC, I have a pretty decent PC, but I still want to run the game at least a smooth 60, and so I have some things turned down. I'll show you my settings in a bit because we're going to be changing them, but yeah, let's go for a drive just around the West Coast map. This is my favorite map, so I figured it was appropriate. And also, it has a lot of detail, which will soon be disappearing because we're going to be turning these settings all the way down. Because I had the idea, what would BeamNG.drive look like on the PlayStation 2 at 480p? I don't know if the PS2 actually did 480p. The Xbox original did. So maybe this is the Xbox version. So I think it's very important to note that BeamNG is a very scalable game, and that's a very good thing. The developers do notice that some people do not have computers that could run this thing at a good resolution, and so they have a lot of options that you can add to lower things down to the point where the game kind of looks like San Andreas, and it just kind of means that anybody who has any kind of computer can at least attempt to run this. Obviously it's better if you have better graphics, it's going to be better if you have a separate graphics card of any kind, but still, you can try it on your crap laptop, and it might still run, just maybe. I remember a long time ago, back before BeamNG even came out, it was just a tech demo at this point, I used to play Rigs of Rods on my really crappy HP laptop. The thing was a 17.3 inch, but it was so big. But the game did not run very well on my computer, but at least it played, and I think the devs kind of see that. So let's go ahead, now that we're back at the start, turn this game all the way down, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So in order to do this, I have to go full screen, and I have to drop the resolution all the way down to 640 by 480. That's as low as she goes, and yeah, we'll just leave it at the high frame rate because we need to take some consideration somewhere. I still want to be able to see the game go and not a slideshow. Okay, so it looks a little bit different. That's because the UI is it's stuck at 1080p, and I had it at 1080p because I like to see it a little bit bigger. It makes more sense for videos if you guys can see all the specs too. At 2K it's a little bit too small, but there you go. Okay, going down into the settings, we'll mess with this stuff later, but we do have the option to do effects and visibility and all this kind of stuff, and then everything here is still just the same as it was. The only thing that's changed is the resolution, and yeah, the UI is huge now. Can you see what I mean about this looking like a PlayStation 2 game though? Obviously we haven't turned down the textures and everything yet, this is just the resolution down, but the game doesn't quite look like it used to. Okay, I'm gonna have the UI off, which means my gear shifting is gonna get worse, but we can still very confidently drive around in this city. Now that the frame rate is much lower, you can see that the render distance is definitely compromised as well. Oh goodness, but the destruction is still there, thankfully. It's still playable, for sure. Now, I'm stretching the window a lot, and that's kind of why it looks so bad. If I was playing this windowed mode with just a very small window because my screen is 2K, then it wouldn't look as bad. I might not be able to see what the heck is going on, but this is kind of like if you took a Game Boy game on an emulator and you stretch it up to 1080p, you're going to see the pixels, basically. And that's kind of what we have here. But what if we go ahead and monkey with the settings a little bit more? Let's turn everything off. Everything. So turning the UI back on, we'll just keep this all the same, but we don't really need anti-aliasing, don't need ambient occlusion, bloom, depth of field, and we'll mess with this stuff later because we can just switch to the lowest settings and hope for the best here. Okay, it takes a while to do it, and it's going to actually have to reload the map for this because it's loading in different textures, low quality textures, which is cool. But yeah, dynamic reflection is off, shadows are actually still on. We can probably just turn those off, right? We'll come back and we'll put one setting on at a time and kind of see what difference it makes, but I'll leave tire tracks on just for fun. But yeah, things are looking a little bit more like a mobile game now, aren't they? With the UI off, Uh, yeah, no shadows makes a huge difference, and so does having literally nothing in terms of textures. The distance over there looks like a painting. Uh, not a good kind. If I tried to blow this game up on a 4K screen, I mean, I could try it on my TV, but it would look like pixel art, honestly. That's what we're dealing with here. This is now pixel art. Honestly, I think you could probably get away with playing the game just like this. Top view. This would be Grand Theft Auto 1 right here. But as it were, the interiors still work. They really do look like PlayStation 2 interiors though. Like, it's that style of graphics with just a little bit of extra detail that they wouldn't have had back in those days. I've been playing a lot of old games recently just because I've been, I don't know, feeling that retro vibe, and this really reminds me of that. And then if we look at the buildings and stuff, like, if the car still looks really detailed, it looks abnormally detailed now in comparison to the world, but this world could be out of a PlayStation 2 game. It really has that level of detail. And then the level of pop-in as well is pretty much exact. Like, these trees over here, they're just gonna phase into existence when we drive by, and then immediately out as soon as we leave. And that's kind of what you would expect to see. I think it's particularly bad in this city, just because there's a lot of detail going on there. And okay, I forgot that there's a new tire model in game. None of the physics actually change when you get this low, so you're still fighting with the normal BeamNG stuff. Yeah, you know, this kind of reminds me of Score 1000 Baja, a game that I played a long time ago on my channel. And why is that water texture just one thing? Oh my goodness, I need to go in there. But it's honestly amazing to me that this game can scale so well. I really, really like this. It's not because I want to play it on my phone or on my, I don't know, you could probably run this on an iPad, but it's just cool that they allow this because some people do not have the technology to keep it going. Like, not everybody has a crazy PC. Some people have to work with netbooks and stuff to try and play these games, and it's cool that they have this option. That's really all I'm showing here. I'm not trying to make fun of people who play at these kind of settings. I just find it really cool that this game can do this. Alright, so we've gone quite a while without shadows and with a ridiculous amount of pop-in. I'm curious as to what things are going to look like as we start to, oh wow, those trees. Oh my goodness. I kind of need to go down this forest path now. Finally found first gear, and I also found a rock. But yeah, they don't load in too well, do they? They kind of just... this is very odd. It's a little bit surreal, to be honest with you. Like, what the heck is that thing? One thing I did notice is that I have gone from the highest to the lowest, and then back up to the highest, and still the render distance did not change. You have to restart the game to get that back, so... yeah, just one thing to keep in mind. Honestly, right here, this frame, I feel like this could be a DS game. Like, it just a bit farther zoomed out, and there you go, that's a DS game right there. Can I run the Bugo on this graphics settings? Absolutely. Automation cars look pixely as heck. But, yeah, I guess this is Pixel Car Racer's import version. Yeah, the Bugo doesn't look that bad, actually, on these settings. It's really, really red, without any dynamic reflection, but... yeah, it's kind of cool. Oh, the city in the distance. Oh my goodness. You know, on a DS that would just be a big black screen, so I guess we do have the technology these days. Now I'm interested though, before I start adding settings back, do any of you actually play on this graphics setting, or do you play somewhere near this? I'm interested to hear what kind of computer you have that potentially struggles to run the game at anything higher than this. I was thinking about whipping up my old laptop and giving it a try, but at the same time, I don't think it works anymore. The hard drive is probably done. So, yeah, not worth it. But, yeah, I don't know. I could also try my Vista machine. That would be interesting. Maybe one day. Okay, so I've driven a truck up to the top of this mountain. I think I should slowly add back some settings just to see if we can get this looking a little bit better. Maybe a PS3 level, and then beyond. Let's see though. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is let's try putting on anti-aliasing and see what that does. If that really changes things. Oh, you know what? It actually does smooth it out a decent amount. It really looks like it's got a filter on it now. I guess that's what anti-aliasing is, but can't stop the resolution. That does look a little bit better though. So this is with all of the detailed settings on, including dynamic reflection. and it honestly looks worse. I think that these settings don't mix well with low resolution because the game is just not looking good. It kind of just looks like paste, like especially that one texture right there. But now we can see the sun reflecting off the car, so I guess something has been done for the better. It just looks weird though. Okay, let's change the resolution a little bit. See, I'm kind of curious what this game is going to look like on the lowest settings at 2K, where I normally would have it. Okay, so this is back at 2K, but we still have the settings all the way down. Obviously it looks way better, but just upping the resolution alone makes a huge difference. It's not even the texture resolution, it's just the resolution of the screen, basically. This is kind of what it's like when you upscale an old game. The textures don't change, but the resolution does change, and it makes it look way better. Like, this is a whole new game here. And finally, I guess we may as well go back to how it was before. Highest settings, and it's gonna have to load in again because this does take some time here. Alright, I think this is back to where it was. We got the settings on the highest, SMAA, dynamic reflection, all that stuff is back on, and the game looks like this now. So you can see that it doesn't actually update the distance visibility when you have it like this. So I'm actually going to have to restart the game to get it back to normal, because everything in the distance is fuzzy, as it would be if you had low settings on. It's a little bit weird, but I don't know, just kind of how the game is. But yeah, that's BeamNG at the lowest possible settings. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought of this video, and if you want to see more stuff like this in the future. Yeah, I don't know, I guess I can try other games. Automation doesn't necessarily scale, as it doesn't really matter. But anyway, games like this are cool to cover, I think. But yeah, if you're worried about BeamNG running on your system, you probably should be able to get it to go. If you can run a game at 480p, then you can probably run this game. And I'd be interested to see what it's like on some very, very low-end machines, to see what they can do, even at that super low-end resolution. Anyway, I'm trying to hit 40k by the end of this year, so please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys again next time. Peak that drift though. And I just want to say thank you to those who have chosen to support this channel, specifically Overlord, That Rice-Stood Explorer, QT Bear, Terry Williams, The Most Random Person, Sick D Cars and Stuff, Paradoxical, GA Pope, Channel Failed to Load, Eden, Davis, and The German Dude. Thank you guys for your support. Appreciate you all a lot. I'll see you again next video. And also got more stuff coming up because end of the year is coming. It's gonna be good. I'm very excited. 2021, let's hope it's better than 2020 has been, but I don't really have my hopes up, to be honest with you. We'll see.